Zilberschmuck with Elizabeth Goluch, and she's going to explain her 3 elements piece, her Burying Beetle. So take it away.
It's called a Burying Beetle, and it's also variously known as a sexting beetle and a carrion beetle. And the reason for that is that it digs. If it finds a carcass of anything in your yard or anywhere in the wild, it will make an attempt to bury it somewhat to keep it, because it will use it to feed its offspring. That's the whole point of it. And so I should also preface this with my 3 elements. I was assigned, sort of randomly, but not, because there was a code that we were given to find 3 elements on a periodic table, and mine turned out to be barium, calcium, and tin. So I did some research and I found out that barium is an element that's used to get the green color in fireworks. So on the underside of this piece, I made fireworks to surround my hallmarks, and there are little flashes of fireworks up on the edges there. And that references this little kind of gold collar with the fireworks, like the sharp ones coming out. And another thing about the barium is it's used in investigations of intestinal tract issues. So then that led me to think about colonoscopies, which I know it's not involved in that, but my mind jumped to that. And then I started thinking about death, so that also made me think this was an appropriate beetle for my subject. And so this is the thorax, there's a little pearl there, and this is a topaz. And the jaws are movable. These are called mandibles. And on the underside, these are the palps and the pedipalps, and they help push the food into the mouth when they take a bite out of it. And it's got really sharp, pointy legs, and that assists in the digging away the earth around the carcass of whatever it's planning to eat. So this opens up. And inside here is a little mouse, which is referencing the dead mouse that the insects might find in your yard. And what happens is the male and female actually work in tandem. They stay as a couple, and they mate, and then she lays her eggs in the dead mouse or the carcass. It might just be part of a dead raccoon or something, but in my case I chose mouse. So, and I chose the mouse because I was out in the yard one day and I saw a dead mouse. I was going to mow the grass, so I saw a dead mouse, and I don't like mowing over dead mice. Mm-hmm. It's pretty gross. So I picked it up to move it, and there were 2 little burying beetles under there. They're very obviously burying beetles, and the big red spots on their backs. Oh. And so I took away their food and then probably their eggs, which was sad. But anyway.
I didn't know they were indigenous here.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Okay.
They're not very big. They're probably the size of...
That's what I was going to ask, is what they were
my
like.
thumbnail. I mean, in my memory, they were as big as my thumbnail. They might even be smaller. I mean, but they're obvious. They're not small like tiger beetles. They're bigger than that. And so when the eggs hatch, the larva comes out, and that's an image of the larva here.
Yeah.
And so what happens is the male and female both take bites out of the carcass, and they masticate it, and they feed the larva and look after it and make sure mites, which often they're covered in mites, and they remove the mites from the offspring. And so they do that until they turn into adults, which I find pretty amazing. I never think of insects looking after their babies.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't. You think of them just as hatchlings and done.
And you're gone and out of there. But the other thing I found really interesting too is that you can find anything on Google now. The female has been found to feed more frequently than the male. But the male does participate well, and they do survive even if the female goes off to forage for their own food for themselves and might die or something. The male will still stay and look after the larva, which is pretty cool. So one of my other elements was calcium. So this skull and crossbones here refers both to the calcium and to the death idea of this whole insect. The fact that it's a sexton beetle is sort of a religious reference too. And then I made a basket here that holds some of the cat bones that you gave me from the farm. All these years, they're still sitting there, so I use that. And the reason this basket is in here is because the art of making metal baskets is called tinsmithing. So that's why I chose to make a little basket in there. And the flowers that hold the basket in place refer to nature. And also these hairy bits are here because this is a very hairy insect, really. It's got hair sort of spreading out of weird places under its abdomen. And also grass. And if you can look, I don't know if you can see inside there. I don't know how to hold it so you can see there's a little patch of grass going up inside.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the other thing too is these are two little magic wands here, and I put them in place because 50 is the number on the periodic table that is associated with tin, and 50 is a magic number in neuroscience or astrophysics, or one of those things that I don't know anything about. So that's pretty much the story of this insect, and it's got a really hairy backside, so I put nice gold hairs there. And I think that's everything. There it is.
What did you say? This stone is a topaz?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Lovely.
I wonder if a lot of people actually saw the insides.
Oh, I did it. I demonstrated it the
Oh.
whole time I was here. I demonstrated
Oh,
it
good.
to other people.
Because otherwise, you know.
I know you don't
wouldn't
know, it. But
Yeah.
but it was really fun. How many people do you think? I mean, I must have gone through the talk about 10 times at
Yeah.
least.
It was just so many people, so I don't know what time, do you remember what time you came?
I think I got here close to 9 o'clock, and I
Okay.
left probably around 10:30, 10:45.
Yeah,
So I was talking the whole time.
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, the
I click
outside-
forward, click back, so it looks like the thorax is flipping open and shut. It's really cool. Just silly.
Cool.
It's just silly. It makes everyone laugh.
I just love these. Just beautiful.
There's a lot of work in this gallery.
Oh, and I really like the lines.
Do you recognize these behind you?
Oh, sure, yeah. No, I'm really getting.
And what it is about it, it makes me feel like a storm.
What, the painting?
Yeah, I just love it.
Yeah, it looks really intense.
Yeah. Somebody said to me once, you always get the dark pictures. I don't know why, it's just better. It's a really strong piece. I love it. I just, and I find this very whimsical.
Yeah,
It's just so